Peace, YouTube. This is Fleur Broom coming to you today to discuss a new topic or many topics of discussion. Hey guys, so sorry. My last video I tried to download several times, and to be honest, I didn't know what was happening until after the fact when I tried to reload the video. So I apologize. I know many of you were kind of freaked out that I uploaded. I use all these backwards words. I uploaded a video and it didn't go through. So I apologize for that. I'm going to get the information out to you quickly and easily, and try to make a series of videos so that I can upload them quickly and get you some information, because a lot is going on. Oh yes, I have one of my crystals here today. So let's get it started. Last video I was talking about the Mandela effect, and I kind of wanted to go over into the breaking of the code and the breakdown of what's been happening with breaking the disillusion that has been put before many of you. I will say this, for those asking why I use certain words, believe me, if it was that easy to break a code, to see something in front of you, everybody be doing it. And if it was just a matter of saying illusion as opposed to disillusion, it would be easy. If I've broken something, it means I've been working a long period of time. And a lot of words, remember, the English language has been bastardized. It is full of sigils and anagrams that had been utilized to put you in a deep state of sleep, or to make you more prone to do certain things. So even if you're using certain words, remember, I come from a different language, so I get to see it more so than maybe somebody who speaks English as their first language, because I see things broken down when I've had to discern what an English word is opposed to a French word. And this is when I was little. I've spoken English all my life. But, just people who are foreigners or people who speak other languages, you understand what I mean. When we're learning to speak English, you start to see certain things, certain idiosyncrasies with the English language. Anyway, I want to make this fast because I've got to make sure this video gets uploaded. So if I use a certain word, it's because I've broken it down and I've used certain terminology to be able to break it now. Many of you are seeing the entities, and kudos to you. I'm really happy that you guys are, sharing with each other below, and talking about what you're seeing, how it's being broken down. Some of you are just a matter of, I'm sorry, it's disturbing them carrying this. I had my crystal and I wanted to put it down, but it's very good to have this around selenite when you're near a computer or near any electronics. It kind of defrags the low elf waves and kind of mutes it, so that it's not going into your body, because we're mostly water. Anyway, I go on tangents. So, and yeah, I have my coffee. Hold on. Oh, yum. Okay. So I was going to share a story with you, and apparently I realized why the last video wasn't being uploaded. I wasn't okayed to disclose certain things. Now, I share everything with you guys, and I pretty much just come balls to the wall to share the info. And I just wanted to state the story that I was going to share with you, but I have to omit some aspects of it, because the particular entity that I met up with did not want how or where I met them up to be posted in the video. And it took me a minute to find out why, but now I understand. So remember I told you a while ago, after one of the videos I made, I liken it to be an inner earth melanated being made themselves known to me. And I mean, this is a real face-to-face interaction. It's not like some channeled being coming down like, the Pelagians. I'm sorry. The Pelagian people hate when I make jokes about them, but they always talking about channeling these beings. No, this was a face-to-face. I met the being. They've seen me. This is somebody that I've seen often, and not often, but this entity was around. So it wasn't like some new person, but I never spoke to them. So they made it a point to introduce themselves, and as soon as they introduced themselves, they let me know that they were something else, which is interesting, because when it happens, it kind of flips you out, because you kind of think, even if we're in this world and we're kind of discerning things, it kind of bugs you out when they introduce themselves and they tell you and they give you the proof because they note something that you said or that you disclosed that nobody else will know. So this being did. It was a melanated black male. He looked like an ordinary male. Remember, French is my first language, so he had a very strong, I consider a Haitian accent, but it wasn't. And we would have a little bit of interaction in French. And his French was good, but it wasn't familiar. When he spoke French, it was very, very Antiquarian, very old type of French sounding with a strong accent that I'm not, even though I likened it to a Haitian accent, it really wasn't. Anyway, his physicality was normal, very brown skin, but the odd thing about him, and he let me know, is, remember I told you when I first broke the code of disillusion, some of the entities, their eyes would be really black. His eyes were my color eyes, but blue all on it. Like a odd looking, I've never seen anything like it. Like blue, like someone took blue dye and just dyed his black part of his eye. So on top of the dark black, you could see it underneath. It was odd. It was like a lens, and it wasn't a contact. It was his eyes. And I had just spoken about seeing the video before. I was just talking about these beings, and you know, sometimes when you break the veil, you see the oddest things, like big eyes. But I seen people's eyes shift into like blue shimmery eyes, but this is different because his eyes were just regular eyes with blue over it, and it looked like an odd, like angelic, I don't know, like some sort of crystal. Listen. So, we were talking, and he was telling me about all the events happening. I'm kind of bugging out because I'm like, okay, this is what I do. I meet a lot of very obscure beings, people, but generally not like this, not out in the day, not so overt, it was a beautiful, I'm grateful for the interaction because he taught me a lot, but I will say it caught me off. And again, because I talk like this and I speak like this, and I know, because I've been in this world a while, even when things like that happen, you just don't think it's real. So he goes on to tell me that they have tried to find him, but they can't. And that things right now are being made right. So all the things that were topsy-turvy in inversion, our world, everything's being corrected, especially with people of color. He goes on to saying that the Queen the Queen of England is being brought up on charges for her, you already know what the Queen does. She eats children. Yeah, and they found the bones all over the royal, underneath the grounds around the royal grounds in England, in London. So, buried children's bones all around the perimeters of her, wherever she resides, the castle, wherever. They found that, so she's being brought up on charges. But he said they are all going to be held accountable for what they've allowed to be done. And I'm just gonna digress a little bit and go to a video I just saw, and I'm going to put the link down below about the Queen saying that it'll be the last Christmas, and that the darkness is coming through Europe. It's sweeping over Europe, taking over. And it's so crazy because this is how many months ago? This is about 3 or 4 months ago, and I know I didn't share it. I wanted to share. Remember, I was giving you little ad bits that I was going to share the story with you, but I'm going back this couple months ago, and now she's stating that there's not going to be another Christmas there, and that there's a dark forces coming, sweeping over Europe. And I remember talking to this entity, can't even call him a gentleman, and he stated that they will be taking over every facility that is being run by, I think she's an insectilian. That's my opinion. I can't prove that yet, but the Queen and all her other minions, they have very insect type of ways. They colonize, very insect-like. She's called a queen. We have queens in, in hives and, in, insect world. They're very, very robotic and a type of thing. They're very driven by takeovers and things like that. I personally think the top tiers is run by insectilians, and I think in the lower tiers right below it is the dracons, certain kind of reptilians, and so on. So I think she's likened to that. Anyway, so he stated that, and he stated that many of the people who are utilizing demons for rituals will not be able to do so because the demons have been told that they are not allowed to partake in any rituals, and even if they're being asked to do so. Now, I'll use the word demons, but that can mean incarnates. A lot of times we use words like demons, and it's really those other entities, those fourth dimensional entities. That's what they really mean. So saying that these entities are no longer under contract and service to do work for humans who are giving them offerings. So that is done. So anybody doing Santeria, voodoo, Yoruba, occult, Wiccan type of rituals where you utilize, you would summon demons. I don't like to use the word demons because they're just entities living on the other side. And some people liken them to demons, but they're incarnate, some sort of, entity that's, very insidious, sometimes mostly insidious. And they take, you give them offerings and they do your deed for you. He said they won't be able to do that any longer. What else did he say? Now, while we're having our first meeting, I will say how I knew he was telling the truth. I can give you my physical symptoms changed. Now, this is how you know, and this is one of the things we're breaking the disillusion. People were asking me, how do you know if it's really an entity before you? This entity was different than anything else that I've ever encountered. I will repeat, I've never had an encounter with an entity like this or since another like it. When he was talking to me, my left arm I had pains shooting up my arm, up to my shoulder. My heart was palpitating, like beat, 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 beat. And it's not, it could be a little bit of anxiety and nerves because you got this dude, talking in front of you, and it's another entity, and it's kind of bugging you out. But I got physical symptoms because his vibration was so different than mine. Being in his presence bugged out my biology. It messed with my body. So I'm getting shots of pain up my left arm to my shoulder. My third eye, which has been pulsating since 2012, December 21st, 2012, was the first time, was the first time I got like a throbbing in my third eye. And ever since then, it's been continuing. But as he's talking to me, I'm getting the shooting up the arm. My third eye is pulsating and I have a headache. And I'm feeling really lightheaded as he's talking to me. So I already, again, being in this world, I know that he is something else because I'm having physical symptoms because his vibration is so different than mine. It's affecting my body. And as we're talking, helicopters start to fly by. And as they're flying by, they're hovering. Yeah, I can't give you location. They're hovering over where we were. Hovering, sitting over us. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, he's not nervous about the helicopters. He said they've tried to find him many times, and he's here to clean up shop. He's talking about the governmental officials. He also stated that, excuse me, everything that we're seeing in the media is not what it seems. All these people, black people being killed and so on, it's not what we think it is. He said, do not believe anything you're seeing. All of that is to create some sort of propaganda, to create fear and anxiety in you. And as we talked before, I believe, I know that they're trying to provoke a race war. They're doing so to create something. Now, there's a floodgate of Muslims coming into Europe right now. And as you know, we're undergoing some sort of major shift. Whenever they do something like that, there's always a sidebar. I personally believe that they're letting these melanated Muslim people, and they're just people of color, come into Europe to kind of uh, melanate the people, because no person who's anyone who has a lack of melanin or melanin recessive right now is going to have an issue with reproduction. And I'm sorry. I hate coughing in the videos, and I generally don't, but I was outside doing some stuff and stuff was bothering me. Anyway, they have to melanate you in order for you to survive. And also veganism, which, I'm a fan, everybody. I'm a veggie girl. I'm all about the non-fleshes, but I come from an animal lover's point of view. But I could, for the life of me, a lot of us vegans and vegetarians could not figure out like what this big jump was. Like, listen, I've been in this world since I was 15. You already know. I'm a woman of a certain age. On and off since I was 15, I was a vegan, vegetarian, God knows, raw veganist. I was always a part of this world, and it was very, very small. It was a small niche of people. It wasn't really promoted. People really thought you were kind of quackadoodles to even live that kind of life. Even, as an island girl, it was more accepted, but, everybody else kind of thought you were a little nutty. But now it's being promoted left and right by celebrities, everybody. I couldn't figure it out, and then I finally figured it out. Number one, to whatever energies are coming in right now, we see pictures with the second sun. We've also had pictures with the third sun coming in. It's a little dot right now, kind of like the second sun looked a couple years ago. The second sun is big now. You can see it. A lot of people are taking pictures of it now. So you have the main sun, you have the second sun, which is a nice size now, and you got the little third sun. That magnetic energy is bonkers. That's why they're spraying all the chemtrails back and forth, because they have to mask that energy and protect, the people on the surface who can't survive that kind of magnetic. If you don't have melanin, and mind you, even if you have melanin, if you're eating crazy, you already know your melanin is all kinds of deactivated, especially if you're staying indoors all the time. You're not acclimated to any sunlight and to any of that magnetic energy. It's going to mess with you too. So it's not just non-melanated people. It's going to mess with any black folk who are living indoors all the time and don't get enough sun and that energy. They're not used to it. So, it's almost like the melanin gets deactivated. Anyway, I go off on tangents. What was I saying? So this is my take from what my research is. And remember, I'm coming from firsthand point of view. I think they're promoting it for, number one, plants have chlorophyll, and chlorophyll mimics melanin. The chlorophyll to plants is melanin to black folks. So it is a protectant, it is a regenerator, it's God's sort. It is a gift. Melanin is a gift, okay? So is chlorophyll. And what they're doing, I think they're promoting veganism to get people to consume more chlorophyll to be able to protect them from the magnetic energy and the sun coming in. Number two, you already know that many of the ET groups, I've already told you, as above, so below. They're consuming human flesh. And you know how some of you go and get grass-fed beef, or what else you get? Chickens that eat vegetarian chickens, or GMO-free flesh. Well, I'm sorry to tell you, but the ETs are cleaning you out for some sort of mass feast. They are making everyone into grass-fed humans, because whatever is about to happen within the next year, they're making sure you're all clean. So when it's time to feast on flesh, they don't have to detox. They can just, go pick out, their food source without any toxins, without any junk in them. So I think it's a combination of two. I think they're trying to get people to consume more chlorophyll so they're protected from the elements that are coming in. And also, they're making you guys into food source. Clean, GMO-free humans. I know it sounds so crazy. Oh, the helicopter's back. It doesn't matter. I'm going to make this video anyway. So anyway, this entity is telling me that everything's being made right. Demons will not be able to do anybody doing any rituals now, killing chickens. Y'all are not right. killing goats or whatever the hell you do during your rituals. But you will no longer be serviced by those entities. They've been told, all demons have been put on hold until they are not. The demons are scared because, remember, they are doing things for a reason, to get something back, but they don't want to be extinguished. They don't want to be totally omitted in this realm or the next. And they are being held accountable by a higher source that all of us have to live under. So there will be no more rituals that will be able to be done with the assistance of demons or incarnates or whatever you call them, or the Orishas. Because the Orishas on certain levels are a certain kind of demonic, energetic thing. Anyway, we don't want to get into that. So all the political figures will be held up to accountability. Now, I just saw another video with Obama also stating that it will be the last Christmas. I don't know what that's about, but both people are stating, high political figures are stating, the Queen and Obama, that there's not going to be another Christmas. And there was a psychic, what's her name? I'll put that link below. You'll see she was a prophet, and somebody just sent that to me, and I read it. It's interesting because she was like 89, 90% accurate in all the things. And the funny thing is, she's like from some like Siberia or somewhere, some off place, and she was blind. She didn't have eyes. Old woman. She just passed away, I think, in the 90s. Don't quote me on this because I'm kind of just giving you what I kind of remember. I'm gonna post it below. She made a prophecy about 2016. I thought it was interesting, because why 2016? Excuse me. And she prophesied that in 2016, Muslims would come in to Europe and use a bioweapon on Europeans. And it would cause Europeans to die, like a nutricide. Kind of like what they did in Africa with AIDS. You see what happens when you do dirt, or you allow a certain people to get dirt? It's terrible when karma comes back. Now, I hope this isn't true, because I don't think anybody should be harmed or hurt. But you see, people, when you let other people... See, I had this video, I told you. Silence is banter for injustice. I don't care if you're eating your Frosted Flakes at home, or your Fruit Loops, or drinking your Starbucks coffee. But if every day you're watching a specific group of people being heinously treated, killed, maimed, destroyed, genocide happening on a mass level, and you are okay sitting there chilling without you don't even bat an eye. You don't even say to yourself, listen, I'm not saying you have to go and write anything and lobby against it. I'm not saying you even have to come out outwardly, but just acknowledging it. Like, you see what's happening now? The roosters are coming home to roost. Never let another people be allowed to be destroyed and be abused without at least acknowledging it on a base level. So she's made a prophecy that in 2016, these Muslims would come in and they'd basically nutricide Europeans. And I think that's what the Queen is talking about. Like, she knows. And also you've got the white tall alien on his video. I'll put that link in there. Be careful watching his video, y'all. I'm not condoning him, but he's telling a lot of truths. And also he's using a lot of telepathy and a lot of subliminal things that are going into your head. So when you watch his video, you have to be very careful, because he inserts things, and it's affected me. I've seen some stuff watching his video, so you got to be mindful. I just give you a heads up that there's an entity out here called himself the Crazy German, a tall white alien, which he's something, and he is validated. I validated that this entity is what he's stating. Just he's made a video where he traveled back in time from the year 2026, stating that it's post-pole shift. And he looked aged. which was dramatically different than what he looks now. Yeah, he could do some Photoshop. He's not, listen, I think he's validated. I think he's telling the truth. He won't answer every question, but I've seen, this is an entity that's stating that he feeds off of people's souls. I mean, he's not a good guy. He just is it's telling you what's going on. And I think he's trying to feast off souls for the underground, for all the underground bases that a lot of these non-melanated people got to go to. So y'all non-melanated people, my people that are non-melanated, start getting your chlorophyll on. Stay away from, I don't know if you should stay away from me because the ETs are trying to feast, but I'm just saying start, I want y'all to be okay too. Like I said, I got love for everyone. I like to share with, people who are reminiscent of me because, there's blackout information about black ETs and so on. But, I have love for everybody. And your children are my children, and how something affects you, white, black, Latina, Asian, will affect me. And I know that. So I want everybody to be safe. Okay. And all this promotion about getting rid of guns. I think, my personal opinion is I think it's a good thing because some of y'all are out of control. Yes, some of y'all been stockpiling bullets and guns and are not in your right mind anyway. And you don't like me and mine. So I think your gun should go. That's my opinion. I think that's why it's getting dark in here. Yeah, it's my opinion. I think them trying to get rid of guns really has to do with getting certain people to get rid of their guns. It's people out here who have too many amount of guns and ammunition, and they will do harm to everybody and anyone. So I think we have to level the playing field. Whatever's about to go down this year, be it pole shift or anything, I'm not sure. Remember, we're going to have a physical pole shift. Hello, it doesn't matter. That is to come. It happened before, and it will happen again. It is that's my phone. Hold on. Yeah, that's confirmation anyway. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm a hip hop fan. Ow. That's confirmation that what's to come. I'm sorry, I can't turn off my ringtone. I'm not a techie person. So, hold on, I'm sorry. Okay, I only have another minute because it's a long video. So, again, this entity had told me everything is right. Everything that's happening is justice. We don't know what it is. If you're seeing something out on the road, don't pay attention to it. Don't. What you're seeing right now is happening for the bigger reason, for a bigger purpose. And a lot of what we're seeing media-wise is not true. It is some sort of invocation to invoke you to feel a certain way. So try not to be invoked, especially my melanated people, my brown people, my copper people, my Moorish people, my indigenous people. Please, if you're watching a lot of the heinousness going on, don't watch it. Don't watch it. It's kind of like when the slave owners used to take one slave to make an example of, so it would put fear in all the other ones so that they wouldn't do what that slave was doing, or make him into an example or her into an example. It's kind of like that. They're doing that to create fear and anxiety in you. Don't watch it. Again, anything that's occurring like that is disgusting if it's true, but we don't know it to be true unless it's your family member, unless you know it personally. You can't always think that that's true unless you're living there and you could personally confirm that happened. So I would, pull away from that. Also be mindful that they're throwing all kinds of elf waves through the electronics. And I would suggest to many of you to get your diodes, something like selenite crystal to kind of defrag or to mute the elf waves coming through. I made these. This one's kind of cracked because I use it so much. But, you can make your own organites, which is so much fun. And I enjoy doing this, but you should really have these around all your electronics to kind of mute the elf waves because they're really kicking it up. I've felt it. And, I'm trying to live in Fort Knox, I try to keep everything very clean and clear, and it's very difficult with as many. They're really trying to, and I liken it to the government or, corporate entities really trying to mess with you so that you're a little off still. So I think that's all I'm going to share now. I'm going to share some stuff based on another group of ETs. I really had to get that out because I feel like the last video I was talking about this entity and I was speaking to him. Now, again, I met him about 3 or 4 times. We had quite a few conversations and interactions by phone, and he disappeared. As quick as he came in, he disappeared. I've not seen him since. He's not around. His number is no longer active. So, I mean, he came and gave me the information. And there's more information that I'd prefer not to share on this platform. And, you know, not everybody, as, you know, I'm reading some of the comments that some of you lovely entities write. And not all of you are deserving of getting gems. I share this to the platform because I need to get it out to people. You know, that's one of the reasons I started to come out publicly about my interaction and my contactee experience. But some of the information I have, I cannot share on this platform any longer. I'm not getting the okay for everything, which is normally rare because I usually can talk about everything. But there's some information that I will only share with those that I'm close to or I have a personal relationship via conversations, email. Because a lot of you are just, I've heard, you know, a question, you having a soul, you know, this is, if you read some of the comments, you know, I try to get rid of them, especially when I'm really nasty. You know, some of the comments are just so heinous. And I think to myself, wow, these are examples of walk-ins and demonic possession and empty seaters. I mean, everything you could think about, because obviously I'm making a video, and for me to make this video, if I don't resonate with you, keep it moving. I don't even understand why you even want to leave a comment if you don't like me. If you don't like what I'm saying, you don't like who I'm speaking to, this is not a platform for you. Keep it moving. You know, there's a lot of other platforms where you could speak to other people who look like you and you feel more comfortable getting this information from. I'm just probably not that person. And I'm cool with it. You need to be cool with it and not leave nasty comments. And some of you have complained that I'm sending entities after you. Listen, I got a lot of interesting subscribers and I'm supported by my galactic family. If you think you're going to come from me and there's not going to be a repercussion, especially if you're saying some dastardly things, you're mistaken. I have no tolerance for it. Yeah, this, you know, I don't mind, you know, I'm friendly and I'm, you know, I share, but you're not going to come on here and insult my subscribers and attack them or nor myself. Okay. This information I'm sharing with certain people. If you don't like it, keep it moving. Okay. And if I have suns on my wall, I'm talking to specific people who come to my video and had a problem with me having a sun on my wall, saying I'm a sun worshiper. Listen, if the sun bothers you, that's something that's an issue with yourself. And maybe you subconsciously know that you can't live under the sun and you shouldn't be here. Okay, I'm really making that call. If me having a decoration on my wall makes me a worshiper, that's sick. That's really odd. You know, a couple of people were talking about me having a sun on my wall and makes me a sun worshiper. That's insanity. If I went in someone's house and saw decorations on the wall and said they're worshiping them, are you worshiping your decorations? That you'd think I was crazy. Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Come on now, people. Let's be a little more rational. And for those religious sectors of my subscribers, listen, I think if you subscribe to Jesus Christ or to Allah or anyone, that's your personal. I think you have a right to agree with or to worship or to, you know, practice any religion you want. You know, it's not my call to make a judgment on you. Everybody comes here with their own, you know, belief system. What I believe in doesn't really truly matter. You know, I always tell people, if you have to ask me if I believe in Jesus Christ, and you're Christ-like, you should really be watching the deeds that I do. I love animals. I'm an animal activist. I think all life should live well. I'm the most pro-life person. I believe in letting all life live, children, unborn babies, insects, animals. I am the advocate of going to homeless shelters and donating clothes and donating time to people that have less. I advocate that to my little people. I advocate that to everyone. I believe in lending a hand when I have to anyone in need. I believe in using kind words to everyone and to lessen the judgment. That's how I live. And I live cohesively with Mother Earth. I really am protective of all of her elements, and I'm a fan of recycling. So if you ask me if I believe in Jesus Christ, you should ask if I'm actually. You shouldn't be asking that. You should be asking and looking and receiving the fact that I may remind you of a Christ-like being, because I'm living very Christ-like. Rather than asking my belief system, why don't you ask what I do? Because I know a lot of Christians who don't do those things. Okay, so no pun intended. Anyway, so I wanted to make this video on that. Right now we're going through a retrograde. So during a retrograde, you already know, it's your perception of the planets going in reverse. It's kind of a reflection time. But after the retrograde, everything should be back and running smoothly. This year will be an interesting year. And yes, I'll make more videos. This one's kind of all over the place, but I wanted to get the information about the entity because I think that was the information I wanted to get out, that I met this gentleman. And again, I believe he was an inner earth being. And he was a brown man with black eyes that had blue around them. And no, he didn't have some sort of eye issue. Someone asked, a couple of my people were like, did he have eye issues, any eye cataracts or anything like that? No. This was an odd looking phenomenon. And my physicalities changed when he was in my presence. Also, the helicopters also let me know that they were picking up on some sort of frequency, because the government has ways to pick up when other entities come in. There's like a residue that is on you when you go in and out of dimensions. And they have technology that can pick up on it, and they'll come around where they're getting that, wherever that chemical is being emitted, and they can pick it up on their technology. They'll go around and see where it's coming from. They're trying to find out. So I believe that's why they were around hovering. And they hovered over my area for around 45 minutes. It's quite a bit of time, just staying above us. And then when he left, staying above where I was. It was, it's part of that issue with, them trying to stop or alter or being nosy, trying to find out why you're of interest and what information is being disclosed. Anyway, this is a long video. I'm going to upload it. Hopefully it'll be uploaded very easily. I'll get this out to you. I'm sorry if the last video kind of threw you off. I was just sharing that information, and it simply didn't want you to know certain aspects of it, but I'm assuming now this should be okay. Okay, so I'm going to come back to you. There's so much more information I want to share. Again, the Queen, Obama stating this is the last Christmas we just had was the last Christmas that's going to be held at the White House and at the Buckingham Palace. There's a prophet stating that there's going to be an extermination, chemical-wise, of Europeans in Europe. So be mindful of that, my European people. Protect yourself. Start, doing things that would, protect your state of being, and just, watch. Be mindful of the people around you. Okay, so I want you guys to be okay there, because I have a lot of subscribers from the Netherlands and from Germany and from London, or actually England. London's in England, I want you guys to keep safe, okay? So I'll make another video. I'm sorry again. And be nice. Some of my people. Be nice to my people. Anyway, peace out. I gotta go. We'll chat again. I love you. Flurburn.